Hello everyone, welcome. If you haven't been here with me in one of my videos before, I welcome you. I'm glad to kind of meet you. And if you have seen one of my videos before, welcome back. I'm Dr. Toni with Dr. Toni Coaches. I am your local psychotherapist branched out into life coaching. I have over a decade of experience in the field of psychotherapy, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today for this series of talking about when we choose to invest in our own self-development, our own self-care, when we choose to make that investment in our own wellness, how that has a return on investment in all areas of our life, both personal and professional. And this is the last video of this particular series. So if you haven't seen the other videos, I encourage you to go ahead, click on one of the links below and check out the other videos as well. One in which was particularly powerful. I got a lot of feedback about it as I shared parts of my own personal story. Because when I come to you, when I support you, whether it's on video or whether it's in person or whether it's one-to-one or it's in one of my coaching courses that I provide, I'm bringing to the table not just my professional experience and knowledge, but my personal experience as well. Okay, so I have experienced challenges with my own mental health and things like that, which some of which I share in the other video. So again, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go back, check that out. Okay, so today let's talk about greed, fear, and self-care, how they relate. Okay, the past several weeks we've been discussing common obstacles. Okay, so these are things I hear often from busy professionals, from well-intentioned leaders who they want better, they want to do well, of course, but they tend to cite these common obstacles as reasons why they can't or they won't or they shouldn't invest in their own self-care, their own self-development, their own self-wellness. And together I call that both personal and professional wellness, as I said. Okay, so a lot of people like to make a huge distinguishing separation between investing in your personal development and wellness and investing in your professional development and wellness. And I'm here to show you, provide you evidence with personally and professionally that that is just not the case. We cannot always separate them. Okay, there's a time and a place, of course, when we need to make a distinction because we have to create clear boundaries. However, you as an individual are an individual that has a personal life and a professional life, okay? And we cannot separate you as an individual, your needs, your care for yourself from both the personal and professional realm. They all connect, all right? We've covered so far I don't have enough time as there is, okay? That's a common obstacle that comes up. I don't have enough time as there is, so I don't have time to invest in my own self-care, my own self-development. Like, I just don't have that time, right? There's actually 2 articles that I put out recently, as well as 2 videos that you can check out that we covered in this series. And then we also covered how an investment in wellness enhances our relationships with ourselves and with others, and therefore has a return on investment that extends beyond just us, right? Because oftentimes this is viewed as selfish if we invest in ourselves, okay? But really, this investment stems beyond just us. It has a rippling effect. And that, to me, that is the most powerful impact that we can have. It's also really what makes me so passionate about what I do, because I see that rippling effect all the time in people's lives. It's so powerful. Anyway, I did an article on that and I did a video on that. You can click the link below if you haven't seen that, okay? And then we also went through my personal story the other week as I shared about this incalculable return on investment that you get when you choose to invest in your own wellness, and not just this mental and emotional return on investment, but also a physical and medical improvement that can happen in your life, which is what happened for me and others that I've supported. So you can check that out as well in the links below. Okay, so today let's address the last, but certainly not the least commonly cited justification for not investing in one's own self-care, self-development, and that today is money and efficacy, okay? Is this going to work for me? Why should I spend money on this? All right. So money is a resource. We forget that sometimes because it's in our society, it's often associated with other things that are somehow indicators of our worth or worthiness or our value, right? And so we are often receiving messages, whether you realize it or not, we're so often receiving messages about money that the amount of money that we make is tied to worth or greed in some way. All right, so we tie money to indicators of things like greed. You're greedy if you want too much money. Power, the more money I have, the more powerful I am. Worth, if I was really worthy or if I was of value, I would be making more money or people would want to give me more money. And success, in order for me to say that I'm successful, I have to be making loads and loads and loads of money. Otherwise, I'm just not successful. And there's also a lot of folks that struggle with wanting money and it not being greedy. Like, oh, but I want money. And so that must be a selfish, bad part of me because I shouldn't want money. There's just so many money stories there. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to go into all the potential money stories that are out there. How you view money does influence how you're willing to spend it. We can, I think, at least agree on that based on those few examples I just gave. But I am going to encourage you, if you are resistant to spending money on your own self-care, on investing money as a resource in your own self-development, get curious here, okay? Investigate some of the stories that come up for you around money. It's going to be really helpful. And if you're unsure about how you view money, I'm definitely going to further encourage you to dive into that, okay? It's definitely going to unveil some of the mystery of some personal and professional areas in your life that you may have been struggling with, all right? Oftentimes, the most caring people and those that look very successful, outwardly got it together, they're the ones that are struggling the most with investing money into their own self-care and their own self-development. That's because they justify investing money and other resources professionally. Okay, so they're like, oh yeah, I can invest money in my professional realm, in my career, or maybe even in helping others because it's connected to their care for others, or it's connected to an investment in their potential success with their career. However, when it comes to the personal side of things, they are much less likely to view an investment of money or other resources that they have as unproductive or selfish. They're viewing them in a way that this investment of money or resources is not good. It is bad in some way. It is not going to be productive. It is a waste, or it's a luxury, or it's selfish, as opposed to viewing it as something that would amplify their own wellness and would allow them to be a better leader, a better lover, and so on and so forth. And so they invest the bulk of their time, their efforts, their resources, their energy into helping, leading, supporting others, or expanding professionally in some capacity. And they invest very little, if any, time, money, resources in themselves. Okay, and I don't mean this in a selfish, I don't care about anyone else way. I mean this in a, if I can enhance myself, if I can make sure that I am having good self-maintenance, then I can run more smoothly. I can operate better. I can function more optimally in other realms of my life and therefore show up as a better version of myself. That's not what's happening. Oftentimes, this money investment, this resource investment in themselves is just viewed as greedy or selfish or a waste of time, unnecessary, okay? And if a focus on self-care and self-development is considered to be selfish or unproductive, then it's going to be deemed as unnecessary and it's not going to be properly invested in. That's just the case. That's what it is. And so what we know to be true based on both research and experience is that so much of our workforce and our leaders are stressed and they are stretched. They're so pressured, right? This internal pressure, the external pressure, and chronic stress. We know this. Research supports this. Chronic stress, it wreaks havoc in our lives and on our minds and on our body and on our spirit, right? It leaves people feeling more fatigued, more likely to get sick. It reduces our immunity, more irritable, less creative, more challenged with problem solving or managing our emotions or communicating clearly. And so beyond impacting finances now and in the future, this is going to significantly impact our quality of life if we're not tending to this chronic stress, okay? If we're not realizing, if we're not managing this chronic stress in our lives in a different way. And we're not doing that if we are making, I'm going to use the word excuses, and I know it's going to be a hard word to hear for some folks, but if we're making excuses about why we shouldn't, can't, or aren't allowed to in some way, or it's bad in some way, to invest in our own self-care and our own self-development, okay? If we're completely separating that from all other realms of our life, we're doing ourselves a disservice. An investment in self-care and self-development enhances our overall well-being, mind, body, and spirit. And therefore, it enables us all to be even more equipped at not only serving and leading and supporting others, but at achieving our own versions of success too. Okay. And everyone's version of success is a bit different if you're willing to dive deeper and figure out what your true version of success is, separate from what the world or society or your family or so on and so forth says success should be for you. Okay. That's another topic. We're not going to go into that today. But if that's coming up for you, know that that's important for you to explore. Okay. And so, of the busy yet caring and successful professionals that have shifted to this place of, yeah, okay, I accept that investing money and resources into my own self care, my own self development is a worthy investment. I can see that. I know that investing time and resources and money and all that stuff into my own wellness is going to help me be more effective in how I show up in my life. It's going to help me feel better and therefore be able to be there for others as well. What sometimes then at that point comes up is, but is it even going to really work for me? Okay, cool. I buy into this. It could help me, right? It could help me be a better me. But is this way of increasing my wellness, whatever this way is, maybe it's a coach, a therapist, some regiment, or some app, or whatever the investment is that you're considering to enhance your wellness, is this really going to work for me? Nah, it's not going to work. Or maybe I'll give it a try, but it's probably not going to work, right? And so maybe you'll go in really heavy in the beginning, but then taper off because you don't think it's going to work anyway. It's just taking up too much time. Or maybe you never thought it was going to work, so you don't even try. You're like, it's not going to work. So that's just, even if it was going to, wind up helping me out to invest in my wellness, like this isn't going to help me invest in it. Like it's not going to help me enhance my wellness. So what's the point? It's not going to work, right? This is an efficacy thing. And this question of efficacy, it comes from a place of fear. Fear that the investment might be a bad one, or that there's something about them that is beyond fixing, or fear maybe of trusting that the other person, service, or support, the one that's on the other end of that investment, is of actual integrity or quality, or is actually geared towards supporting them as an individual. There's so many fears that can come up here, and that's normal. It's normal. It's normal if fears come up, okay? It's just important to know that wondering if it's going to work for you is a normal part of that choosing process. It does not need to be a stopping point for you. Okay? It is a normal part of this choosing to invest in your wellness process to feel some kind of fear. Just don't let that fear be the deterrent for you. Don't let the fear make the choice not to invest for you, okay? If you decide that you're ready to invest time and money and effort and energy into your own wellness, you're not going to choose that investment blindly, right? I'm just going to go in and choose whatever comes by and, oh yeah, maybe I'll try this, or right. We're not going to make that decision blindly. Okay. You want to make it intentionally. Once you recognize that this investment in yourself, in your own wellness, and your self-care and your self-development, once you recognize that that not only enhances your own quality of life, but has a rippling effect upon others that you interact with too, then it makes sense that you want to carefully explore your options before making that ultimate choice about what you're going to invest in that's going to help you enhance your wellness. Okay? You don't just make the decision and then you just go in and you're like, oh, I'm just going to choose the first thing that comes to me. No, you're not going to go in blindly. Okay, so it's okay to feel fear about whether this is going to work for me or not, but you're going to do research. You're going to do your research. Now, don't let that research consume you and then prevent you from actually acting on something, okay? Just, maybe 1-2 things that you narrow it down to, and then you choose out of those 2 things based on the research that you do. Maybe it's between a coach and a therapist. Maybe it's between a course and a mentor, whatever the case is. Allow yourself to do some research, okay? You're not making this decision blindly. Assess what kind of support you would like to try, what you particularly want to enhance more of in your wellness. Maybe you're noticing that communication is the biggest challenge for you right now, and that's where you want to focus on. Maybe it is that stress that's wreaking havoc on your body, and so your physical challenges are more prominent. Whatever it is, you want to share it with the potential wellness person, support service that you're going to invest in to check, is this going to help me with these areas of my wellness that I'm struggling the most in? Okay, do some research. Just be sure that you don't get mired down by all of the options in the process, and that can happen. If that happens, what I want you to do is step back and talk to someone you trust. You're welcome to reach out to me. Or maybe you turn to your journal because there's not someone that you feel comfortable talking about this with, but you need to step back from the process if you're getting mired down by all the options, okay? That's just further evidence of the fact that overwhelm is taking more and more control of your life, and so you need to make a choice on what option, okay? So take a step back, all right, and have a conversation. I have a free consult. If you want to talk with me, I'm happy to do that and walk through with you. If it's not a good fit, I'll let you know. I'll tell you what my recommendation is for you, okay? And if it is, I'll let you know that too. But the self-development journey is an ongoing process. Although you'll choose your first investment wisely, it's just your first investment, or one of the first investments, but it's not your only investment ever in your self-care and your self-development. Over time, other things may come up and you'll choose to invest in a different way to support yourself and your wellness at that time too, right? This is not an end all be all. Don't put all of that pressure on yourself to make the perfect choice at the perfect time with the perfect person or the perfect system, okay? Perfection is not our goal, progress is. If you're unsure whether or not you truly want to get started with investing in your own self-care and self-development, then you might choose simply by starting to ask yourself some of these questions, okay? I'm going to share some questions with you that you could ask yourself. If you pride yourself on care, are you taking time to care for yourself? Ask yourself, am I taking time to care for myself? If you pride yourself on loyalty, have you been loyal to your own needs lately? Ask yourself, am I being loyal to what I really need right now to maintain myself, to care for myself, to enhance myself? If you pride yourself on achievement or efficacy, have you recognized the difference in productivity, creativity, and focus when you overextend yourself? Ask yourself, am I overextending myself to the point of, in some ways, actually reducing the level of achievement and efficacy that I could experience more of? If you pride yourself on support or leadership, have you neglected or embraced opportunities for others to be of support or guidance to you? To exercise their strengths to be of support or guidance to you, just as you want to exercise your strengths to be of support or guidance to others. Whatever your answers are to those questions, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? If yes, if you're okay with all of your answers to those questions, you're probably in a good spot right now. Probably taken some time to care for yourself, to tend to your needs, to develop yourself, to enhance yourself. You're probably making sure that you spend time for yourself and investing some kind of money or energy or efforts or time into your own self-maintenance. Awesome. Keep it up. But if the answer is no, or you're unsure, there's a lot of confusion there, then the question remains, what might you choose to do next to change that? You don't want that to stay the same. So what might you choose to do next to change that? Just to begin to take that next step in the process of change, okay? There are a variety of options that are available to you. And a coach might be for you if you desire to focus in on enhancing a particular self-development goal, a particular area of your life. A therapist may be for you if you are needing to go in deeper to process past experiences that are contributing to the challenges that you have coming up for you now. An online course may be for you if you are not if you're not yet ready to work with someone more closely, more directly, and you'd prefer to do some kind of work on your own first, at your own pace, just to get started before taking that next step to work directly with a professional, a mentor, so on and so forth. Everyone's choice is uniquely their own. It's not a right or wrong choice. It's not about a perfect choice, okay? It's not even about perfect timing, all right? But be willing to ask yourself these questions. See if you do want different. See if you do want to enhance not only yourself, but the rippling effect that you have in your life and the lives of others, okay? And if you do, I welcome you as always. Reach out to me. Let's connect. I have a free consult. I have the Reset, which is an amazing new 8-week program that's coming out. It officially launches November 1st, but you can sign up for the waitlist now if you're interested. And that 8-week reset, learn how to push your own reset button in as little as 15 minutes a day at your own pace, okay? Because it's a self-paced program. It's going to be digital and it's going to be coming to your inbox every day, super convenient, okay? If you're interested in that, reach out, let me know. I'll be happy to put a link below as well, or you can just email me, hello@drtonicoaches.com. All right? Have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.